going to be making a design similar to this, but we're going to use it on a teardrop shape stone. So what you will need are 4 lengths of 20 gauge dead soft copper wire, and mine are about 10 inches each. My stone is a little more than 1 inch long and about 3/4 of an inch wide. So I've also got my flush cutters, my tweezer nose pliers, you can use chain nose, round nose pliers, and nylon jaw pliers. So to begin, I've got my cat here. Sit down, baby. I'm going to begin with my first wire, and I'm going to put my 28 gauge over it because I like to weave coming, let's see, let's put the second one here. I like to weave going from underneath and over. So I'm going to do twice around both of those two. Some people prefer to come the other direction, which is perfectly fine. So whichever way works for you. I'm going to put the third one on, and I'm going to come in between the bottom 2 wires and go around the top 2 twice. Squish those together with my nails, and then put the 4th one at the top. We're going to go in the middle between the middle 2 wires and around the top 2 twice, right? And then we're going to repeat that coming down. So now we're going to go around the middle 2. So you go in between the bottom 2 to get around the middle 2. And we'll go around those 2 times. And then around the bottom 2 twice. All right. So since this is going to be what's at the bottom of my stone, because I'm going to use the pointy end at the bottom, I want a little space between. I'm going to have 2 of these V's, one on either side of that point. So I'm going to go ahead and do about 10 weaves just on the bottom before I do my second V. Okay, so here we go, just around the bottom one. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, probably 8 would have been enough, but, and then I'm going to repeat what I did to make that V. So I'm going to go around the bottom 2 twice, and in between those 2, let me fix that so they're side by side, and around the middle 2 times. Then I'm going to go in between the middle 2 and around the top 2 times. And then just coming back down the same way around the middle 2 twice. And the bottom 2 twice. And then just to finish off that chain, I'm going to repeat the 3 like I did at the beginning. So just 3 on the bottom wire. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to make sure that is in the middle, in the center. So I'm going to pull some of these down just a little bit so that those are right in the middle. Okay, and then I'm going to trim off my ends with my flush cutters. And I like to use my nylon jaw pliers then to kind of squish those down. All right, so now we've got our 2 little V's, and we're going to place it like this where the point goes. So I'm going to take my tweezer pliers and I'm going to place it not right in the center, but kind of off to the right, so that when I push this side up, it will bend in the middle, and I will have a V on either side. And then I can stick my stone in there like that. Okay. Now the next thing I like to do is to turn it over to the back and go in between the back wire and the next one and just bend inward like this, and then straighten that one back out. Same thing on the other side, and bend it inside. And that just creates a little bed for the stone to rest on in the back. Keeps it from falling out the back. Okay, so that's what that looks like. Now, I kind of want to leave a little space at the top so that I can tuck my wires in as I go. So I'm just going to bend these over like this until they're directly above the stone, centered. And then I'm going to bend them so that they go up like this. And I've got 3 on either side. And you just want to make sure that the front one is not, this is crossing over a little bit. So bring that to the front. And the same on this side. Make sure they are separated and not crossing over each other. And there we go. I also think it's really pretty if it doesn't cover the stone too much, to have your very front wire or 2 coming over the stone. You can also bend at the bottom, bend this in a little bit, but I kind of prefer not to do that sometimes. I think then you can really see the stone better. So now from here, I'm just going to turn it over, and I'm going to take this wire from the back and take it around the side and around the front and around the other side, making sure nothing is overlapping. Around the back again and the front, just to combine all of these wires at the top. Okay, then we're going to separate out 2 of the front wires from the right and 2 on the left. Okay, like this. And then that will leave you with 3 wires for the back. And you can do different things for your bail. For this one, we're just going to keep them as the 3 separate wires. So it'll be like this. And then we can bend out slightly the ones on the outside. So I'm just going to bend it a little forward and then over my finger to create my bail. You can use bail making pliers, but you don't have to. Okay, and then I'm going to just squeeze this from the back to the front, closed like that, and then with this wire that I was wrapping around, I'm going to continue wrapping it one more time to capture all of those wires. And if yours is longer than mine, you may need to trim it a little bit in order to tuck it in. But mine ended up being just the right size. Okay, now I've got these 3 wires, at the top for my bail, and then I'm just going to bend slightly outward the ones on the outsides at the top. So it looks like that. And now we've got in the back, we have these 3 wires from our bail. So I'm just going to move them over to the sides like this. And let's see. One of them I am just going to trim and make a small curl with so that it gets out of the way with a round nose pliers. So I'm just going to curl that one and kind of hide it in the back, making sure that it's not sticking up where it will poke anybody. Okay. And then these 2, let's see. I think I will put my beads on this one on the left side, but this is a little bit shorter than this one. So I'm going to put my beads on this one and bring it across the other way. And then this wire we're not going to need as well. So I'm going to go ahead and trim it and curl it too. These won't be seen. I'm just curling them up and out of the way. So making them shorter and curling them up and out of the way. So that one's kind of along the side of the bail. Tuck it in. Okay, so now I'm going to get my beads, and I've got 4 or 5 millimeter. I think I'll probably use the 5 millimeter because they fit better over the 20 gauge wire. So I'm going to do at least 3 of them. So let's see, 1, because it's just going to come across the front. All right, here's the next one, 2, 3. All right, we'll see how that looks. Yeah, I think we need 1 more, so I'll get 4. Depending on the size of your stone, you can determine how many beads you want. If you want to use beads, you don't have to. So I've got my 4 there. And I'm just going to bring that around. I'm going to lower it just a tad. Oops. Like this. So it kind of sits right above the top of that stone. And then I'm going to trim it and tuck it in the back along the side like this. Squeeze it shut. Okay. So now we're going to make the little rosette in the center, and we will start with this bottom wire on the right, just bending it over into a tight curl like that. And then we chase it with the one from the left, and it's going to go around behind. So pull this first one around to one side, and then pull the other one, keep it behind that one if you can, to chase it. So you do about a half of a turn and a half of a turn like this until you get it the size that you want. Okay. And then I'm just going to trim these off here in the back and tuck them in. But that makes like a little rose, oops, rose design in the front. Just tucking in, following around, chasing one with the other. And I want it a little flatter, so I'm just gonna bend this down a bit. Okay. Now we're going to bend these remaining 2 wires into these little curly designs. So what you do here is you just start to shape this one into a bit of a bend, like a backward C. And then we're going to hold it and bend a little smaller one in front of that and bring that around behind. Okay. I'm going to trim it right here and tuck it in on this side. And try to, oops, kind of hold on to that in the front so that it doesn't bend out of shape. Because sometimes when you are working on the back and closing it in, it pulls on it in the front and then you lose the shape of your wires. So I'm going to repeat on this side, making that C shape, and then coming across to make a little bit smaller circle like that, and bringing that around the back and trimming and tucking it in. And that's all there is to it. Now I just need to oxidize it and polish, and it will be ready to go. There you go. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. Consider subscribing so that you will get all the notifications when I have new videos come out. Thank you.